Have you noticed how fast the gaming industry kills its own creations lately? Anthem servers went dark a couple of days ago. Concord lasted only 2 weeks, and even New World is about to be unplugged from life support. By every rule of corporate logic, when a game fails, it dies. So tell me, how's Fallout 76 still here? It flopped so hard on release, my ears are still ringing. It was so broken. You could run faster by looking at the ground to increase your FPS, people were spawning Fallout 4 assets, and you could be stripped of your entire inventory, including your Pip-Boy, effectively ruining your character. And it went far beyond the code. Bethesda's own support website leaked our names, home addresses, and credit card info to the entire internet. The world was ready to bury the game. How did we even get to 2026? I mean, I like complaining and I do it on a daily basis, ask my girlfriend. There is a lot to complain about in Fallout 76, yet my play hour counter keeps ticking up. And based on my last video, thousands of you are right here with me. Today we are looking at the pipeline of Fallout 76 development to figure out how this game is still breathing when the competitors have fallen. So whether you're new, battle-scarred, or just here for the drama, welcome. Fallout 76 had a secret weapon that helped it out through the early days. It was, for lack of a better term, a massive asset flip. Bethesda didn't build a new game from scratch, they cannibalized the masterpiece, because 76 was built on the bones of Fallout 4. The textures, the animations, the weapons, hell, even the code for the dragons in Skyrim was repurposed to create the Scorch Beasts. Fallout 4 climbed a cliff, so 76 can jump from it. In 2018, playing this game didn't feel like an adventure really, it felt like being a test subject in a Voltec social experiment designed to see exactly how far Bethesda could show their fist up our collective asses. There was not much to do. I mean, sure, you explore the empty world, collect lore nodes and read terminals, but I still have flashbacks to those times. It got real old, real fast. My personal enemy was this little guy that I was supposed to shoot because the quest told me to, but he was always dead when I arrived. It took me literal months to find him alive to finish the quest. Will not spoil anything, if you know, you know. The game was also a lot harder back in the day, balance didn't exist yet, the mechanics were hostile and players were not as friendly. But the first bonds already started to form. It was quite a lonely experience and months went by. And on March 12, 2019, we received the first major content update for Fallout 76, Wild Appalachia. One thing you want to know about early Bethesda patches? It was always 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. I will not focus on it much, but every patch introduced multiple instances of vendor theft, duping, cheating, and exploiting. This particular patch has a special part in my heart. It added the Fastnacht parade. I love and hate this event because it not only united the community in a chill environment, but it also showed me that I would have had gambling problems if I ever gambled. Among other changes, we also got the weapon that shaped the game years in advance, the Fixer. This became the most desirable gun in the game as the bloodied stealth commando meta was born. People kept repeatedly nuking White Springs because it had the biggest density of high-level spawns with a solid chance to be a legendary. Bethesda then cooked something popular at the time. I don't know who Bethesda wanted to appeal to because in general the community was PvE focused, but here we are, we got our own Battle Royale mode, Nuclear Winter. This was Bethesda's attempt at throwing ideas at the wall and watching what stuck. And fun fact, this is the only Battle Royale I have ever played, and even though I'm not the biggest fan of PvP, I had a blast. I still have items that made it through to the main servers. Wall trades were also introduced, but they appeared way too early. The servers were still a mess. The devs were absolutely trashed for adding such a challenging event without proper server adjustment. They ended up scrapping it altogether later on. And just as we were finding our way through the wasteland, Bethesda dropped a bomb. Fallout first. They took the game's biggest friction, inventory space, that was either 400 or 800 pounds at the time, and sold us the solution for $100 a year. This is the moment Fallout 76 stopped being a product and became a subscription-dependent ecosystem. It sparked a literal class war where subscribers were targeted and bullied for supporting the greed. But here's something to think about. That subscription revenue turned a failing game into a business. It paid for the servers when everyone was calling for the game to be shut down, because it couldn't get much worse, really. It was the necessary evil that kept the lights on. And be honest, did you fall for it too? Because I sure did, just look at how many atoms I have. By early 2020, the no NPC experiment had officially failed. The world was still beautiful, but it was still a graveyard. Bethesda was backed into a corner. They had to admit that their vision of a player-only world was wrong. The community was starving for a reason to care, and Wastelanders was what felt like the last roll of the dice. If this didn't work, the lights were going out for good. And then boom! I remember walking into the Wayward for the first time and seeing a dialogue tree. It sounds stupid now, but after 2 years of listening to holotapes and robots, hearing a human voice felt like rain in the desert. We finally had factions, reputations, and the world that actually reacted to our choices. For the first time, 76 didn't feel like a lonely survival project. It felt like a Fallout game. But this salvation, of course, came with a price: the gold bullion grind. Bethesda traded the loneliness for the hamster wheel. They introduced a daily system that turned our wasteland wandering into a career. It was the birth of the modern 76 loop, a repetitive, addictive, and occasionally frustrating grind that gave us a reason to log in every single day and spend as much time in the game as possible. Fallout 76 traded freedom for structure, and a lot of us accepted the deal. At least the game wasn't just surviving anymore, it finally had a pulse. Around this time, the game arrived to Steam, which introduced it to the wider audience because, let's be honest, no one gave two craps about Bethesda's launcher. And then came the scoreboard, the first season. And if you think the gold grind was bad, now we faced a new enemy: the fear of missing out as we know it today. If you didn't log in long enough to do your chores, you missed the rewards. Someday you can buy it in the Atomic Shop. That is, of course, if you wait for years at times and pay some crazy amount of atoms for a freaking jacket. People like me that still remember that the old dailies were giving you atoms for something you actually want met the whole idea with a solid share of skepsis. At least the whole season was united around the same topic, and the big bundle for finishing the scoreboard was pretty juicy. Legendary Run turned 76 into a habit. Later on, we got the Brotherhood of Steel updates, and the Brotherhood returned, bringing the only thing Fallout 76 was still missing: hard moral choices. Because let's be honest, the story in 76 is rather toothless, with you having no ability to make the wrong choice. We still got to see the result of our choices someday, but siding with either side gave the game its Fallout feeling back. And for the first time, it wasn't just about the asset flip anymore. We got to see the new part of Fallout lore being developed. By the time the dust settled on the Brotherhood of Steel storyline, Fallout 76 had finally stopped feeling like a mess and started feeling like home. After the Brotherhood of Steel storyline wrapped up in 2021, the pipeline entered what I call the long winter. For nearly 2 years, the massive story expansions vanished. Yeah, we got some public events like Eviction Notice, sure, and some new gameplay tweaks and updates like Legendary Crafting, but the world felt stagnant. It felt like we had hit a ceiling. It seemed like Bethesda was content just keeping the lights on while the rest of the industry moved on. No one could have suspected that it was just a foundation for something great. And honestly, I was out of the game for a while during this stretch. The hamster wheel had finally stopped spinning for me. I got burned out from daily this, weekly that. It was around this time that I actually wrote my Steam review and closed the game for what I thought, for good. Coming back after the break felt like walking into an old place of yours where all the furniture was moved, but the smell was exactly the same. It was comfortable, but we were all waiting for something. Then we got the expeditions. My friends completely lost their minds because it was the first content update in years. The pit was our first real trip outside the map borders, and at first it felt like a glorified high-stakes daily ops, but it proved the engine could handle a change of scenery. It paved the way for Atlantic City, which finally brought back the atmosphere I'd been craving. These were not the full map expansions like we wanted, but they were at least some reward for our patience. They proved that even in its middle days, Fallout 76 wasn't just idling, it was learning how to leave the nest and prepare for the massive explosion that was about to hit in 2024. By early 2024, Fallout 76 was a stable, quiet neighborhood. We had our routines, our camps, and our comforts, but the world outside was about to notice us. When the Amazon TV show dropped, it was like someone threw a brick through the window and invited 10 million people over for a party. The player spike was massive, the servers were full of newbies, and suddenly that game from 2018 was the most talked about RPG on the planet. The updates finally responded with what we have all been waiting for, Skyline Valley. After 7 years, the map borders finally shifted. And we also got Burning Springs, we got the gullification, and even a dedicated fishing mechanic, because apparently even in the nuclear apocalypse you still need a hobby. We even saw the return of raids and massive balance patches that finally tried to put some order in the chaos of the spaghetti code. We also got some minor updates like Milepost Zero update, rest in peace Mumu, and a camp building overall that is, man, let's just be honest, just give me a search button that would fix every single problem that I have with this terrible UI. And by now, in 2026, the conversation has shifted, with the TV show having firmly cemented Fallout as a cultural legacy. The wasteland isn't just a map we play on, it is a place we live in. We have moved past the era of fixing the game and entered the era of simply enjoying what it has become. It's rare to see a world this resilient, while other big budget titles fell one after another. This community, us, stayed behind to keep the lights on. The industry usually rewards the polished and the predictable, but Fallout 76 is proof that there is more value in being stubborn. We didn't just watch a game survive, we watched it grow a heartbeat. So if you're one of the thousands who just stepped out of the world for the first time after watching the show, welcome. You're seeing the version of the wasteland we fought to keep alive. And if you care about games that refuse to die, subscribe. We dive into Fallout 76 once again together. And as always, I will see you in the wasteland, guys.